What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Demastered, episode 97. I'm your host, Joe, and I'm joined by Tom. I know, this is weird.
Where's Charlie?
We don't have Charlie with us this week. I think this is our first two-man
now
episode.
That he's here, he doesn't have to tell us we have to wear headphones.
No, I know. We're being rebels,
we can do
Charlie.
whatever we want.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta hide it a few seconds in so he doesn't edit it out.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so we are without Charlie. Charlie's our technician, so if this sounds
if anything
weird,
goes wrong,
yeah,
it's Joe's fault.
Now, he basically made it for us one click start recording, so hopefully we don't fuck anything up. But you never know with us.
I feel like it's hard to fuck this up, but I feel like we could find a way. I feel like we're resourceful enough that we could find a way to fuck it up.
We could find a way. We probably will find a way. Like when we go to, I don't know. We'll figure it out, though. This is Podcasting Master, though, your weekly video game podcast. I feel really weird not having Charlie here.
Yeah,
I feel like off, but I've always wanted to do a two-person podcast, but I don't think
we've done it before.
We have?
Yeah.
Okay. You and Charlie?
Me and Charlie.
Okay.
On the old podcast, you and me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about this run, not stuff we don't talk about in the
Charlie
dark
have
ages. Oh, because I know we've had Stu on for weeks you weren't here.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
He's become my de facto replacement.
Yes, we actually got a message from Stu later about something that I feel like you'd be passionate about too.
What?
Because it involves. I'll go into it later. But
okay.
Let's start with what we've been playing. And Tom, what have you been playing this week?
So I've really just kind of been going through my backlog of games, and I realized that a long time ago, like almost a year ago, I bought Broken Age on sale for something ridiculously cheap, like $2.99
on PSN.
Yeah, on PSN, and I never played it. I never played it because I was always like, adventure games are always something I wanted to like, but I was always wary of the adventure game bullshit that comes with these games.
Yeah,
like you're just supposed to know you combine this random item with this random item to progress in the puzzle.
I actually started Broken Age once, and I think because it was free for PlayStation Plus 1 month, maybe. And I started it, and it was that exact thing where the first room, like I had a final, it was the first story with the girl.
You have to find the knife, and then to get the knife, you have to bring the cupcake to the grandpa, but you don't give him the cupcake, you have to split it, and then you get the knife.
Yeah, it was just a weird, like not too obtuse, but like obtuse enough that I was like, you know what?
So I'm at like the last chapter. I'm like very close to the end. It gets so fucking Byzantine.
Yeah.
Like there is no way for some of these puzzles I've done that I would know to do any of this unless I had a guide in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been playing this game, with a guide open in front of me. And the reason I'm actually enjoying it, even though I'm playing it with a guide, is not because I care about, test straining my brain with these puzzles. It's because I'm really enjoying the story and the characters.
Yeah.
The game has a really nice art style and some really good writing and some really great characters. And it feels like a very well-written cartoon.
Okay.
And that's primarily what I'm enjoying about it. There's some great voice talent in there. Jack Black is in there. Elijah Wood voices one of the protagonists.
Yeah, I remember them making a big deal when they were announcing it.
And then there's a lot of voices you'd recognize if like you've seen a modern cartoon. And it's just a very well-rounded cast with some very smart and funny writing.
Yeah.
And there's a reveal later on that the way it kind of ties the two stories together, that when it happens, like, it's a really cool moment, because like, oh, that's why that happens. Like, it just makes so much sense, because for a long time these two stories seem completely separate.
Yeah.
And then when you see the connection, you're like, oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
So are you at the end of like part 1, or are you at the end?
Like, I'm at like the end of part 2.
Oh, okay. The end of part 2. Okay.
Yeah. I think I need to finish this one part with Vela, and then I have to move on and do the Shay stuff, and they should be done.
Oh, okay. All right. And just out of curiosity, when do you start seeing that connection? Do you start seeing it like at the end of where, I guess because now it's one game, maybe it's hard to tell now, but like halfway through the game, would you say you start seeing that connection?
Halfway through,
okay,
yeah.
so probably where part 1
there's
ended.
a big moment a little later on that kind of cements everything.
Is it kind of, this is going to be weird without me playing this game, but it almost sounds like something like, remember the books, we read one in school, The Giver? And then there was that second book.
I never read the other books.
Okay, so I've plowed through The Giver, and then there was another book called The Messenger, or there's a book in between those two. And like The Giver and this other book took place like in the same world, but they were so distinctly different, and then The Messenger brought them together. It sounds kind of what you're saying. So
kind of,
if anyone's read the books past The Giver, then you may know what I'm talking about.
But when they come together, it's not like, oh, these two things are kind of related, therefore the world's it's like no, these stories combine and the characters meet.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That reminds me of the third book. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm going to beat it because I hit a point where I've been following the guide to the T, but I hit a puzzle where there needs to be a box of cereal, and there isn't a box of cereal in this part, and I'm trying to figure out how do I get this box of cereal to spawn. And I don't know if it was something I missed way earlier that's going to cause me to have to reload a save. And if that's the case, I'm just not. It's done.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that again.
I know that happened to me when I was playing Grim Fandango because I was also playing with a guide because that game is also just obtuse, like beyond necessary. And the same thing, I missed one thing and I needed that one thing. It was either reload a save or backtrack, and I'm like, I just can't do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I know that pain.
It's so frustrating because I really am enjoying so many things about the game, but like, it's like the core adventure game I don't necessarily like. Like, I like it in some instances, but then there are just parts like this where it's like, why the fuck would you even think to like leave that there for way later on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same issue I have. Like, I think Monkey Island looks interesting. I think Day of the Tentacle looks interesting. I'm not gonna play them because I don't want to deal with the obtuse bullshit.
That's why I like the new, like, I guess, modern
the Telltale
adventure games where they're more story focused more than puzzle, but
like modern Telltale game I can think of that even had a little bit of adventure game in it was the first Walking Dead.
Yeah, after that they became more story.
Very
find
minimal.
The battery, find the granola bar, find the wrench, like shit like that.
Exactly.
It was very simplified.
But it's funny though, if you look back at older Telltale pre-Walking Dead, they were hardcore adventure games. Yeah. Back to the Future, Sam and Max, the Monkey Island games they did, those were all like hardcore adventure games.
Yeah, and then they had a hit and they were like, let's keep going down this way.
Yeah, I think they're known for something completely different now.
Oops, let me mute this.
I never played that Jurassic Park game.
No, I heard it was horrible, which is why everyone was kind of iffy about Walking Dead. And then it came out and they were like, holy shit, you just made a game of the year after making
they nailed it.
Trash of the year with Jurassic Park.
Another game I picked up was Steep.
Okay, did you buy this before? Did you have this for a while, or you just got it?
I played the beta.
Oh, that's probably what I'm thinking.
I played the beta months ago, and I actually really enjoyed the beta a lot, but just never got around to picking it up.
Yeah.
And I would always see it, but I never saw it for the price that I wanted to pay for it.
Okay. What was that price?
No more than $30.
Okay, that sounds about right.
So finally, it goes on sale on PSN for $30, and I'm like, "Fuck, I'll just buy it." So I bought it, and I mean, to echo what I said when I was talking about the beta, I like that game a lot. I feel like that game is bringing back the extreme sports genre, which died, and I know there was the Tony Hawk 5 thing, which kind of tried to bring it back a little bit in the 2012 SSX, but none of them really succeeded. Steep is doing enough interesting things and modernizing it that it feels like if this thing has legs, which I hope it does. I know it didn't sell amazingly, but apparently it did meet their expectations. So
yeah, that's what they were saying. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit, I guess, in their earnings call. But
if this thing has legs, that it could, build a foundation for future extreme sports titles. But it's fun, It's the process of hitting a challenge and then just doing that challenge over and over again until you get the perfect route that you do land it and you get the gold medal on it. Like, that's fun. Especially because you can just instantly restart if you fuck up, like no loading screen, nothing like that.
There's a part of me that now we don't have denier here, so I can say the title, I can say the name Switch without getting, crucified.
Go for it.
But this is a title that I probably wouldn't buy, but the fact that it's coming to the Switch, if it comes out at the right time, I could see myself picking it up and playing on there, depending on what people say about the quality of it and everything. Because I did think it was a very good looking game. I played the beta also on PC.
It's a great looking game.
So it'd be very interesting to see. But I could see myself being like, if it came out like Mayish, June, like on Switch, I could see myself picking it up.
I think that would depend on the quality of that port.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
part of the appeal of this game is just how fucking great it looks. Like, some of these vistas are just astounding.
Yeah, but I remember having fun with the wingsuit. Like, I wasn't like too high on the game, but like $30 seems like in my mind, I'm also enjoying the right price.
And this has been my new podcast game. Like, I've played this. I'll play it for like 2 hours or so, and just have a podcast going in the background. And you check the things off the list. You're like, oh, I didn't go over and do this challenge. And the good part is, like, it's an open world. But the reason it's an open world is that you can find new routes and you can make your own routes. And once you snowboard down something or ski down something or wingsuit or parachute, you can save that route.
Okay.
So that's just there, and you can make a challenge out of it, so other players can go and do that too, because it's a shared world.
All right. So when you go into like hubs, do you see other players? Like, is
I
there
mean,
like
the main thing is a hub. You always see other players.
okay.
It's
That's
always
cool.
online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never mind,
so
that's cool.
so
then.
you always see other players, but then like the appeal of the open world is you're finding new routes constantly. It's not just one track. It's the whole mountain is a track.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's cool then.
Yeah, and it's not like you even really have to like do much in the open world besides, like, oh, this looks like it'd be cool to snowboard now. And it's not like you're really walking around much except to maybe like get to a point that it'd be more convenient to run there or walk there. Because you can really just teleport anywhere on the map. And I think they knew
like
that
right from the beginning.
Yeah, so they don't give you like they don't make you like travel anywhere to unlock points.
It's interesting because they did that with Watch Dogs too. Also, like right from the get go, as soon as you like kind of start the game, like after the prologue and everything, you can start jumping around to wherever you want. So maybe that's a tactic instead of kind of. I feel like I feel like 2 years ago you would have had to get to somewhere on the mountain and kind of like open up the area, some garbage like that.
Tower.
Yes, exactly.
And I know that there are a lot of people who are like, I like the immersion. I play Skyrim. I don't fast travel at all. But it's like, I don't know. I like fast travel.
I don't have the time for that.
Get me to the dungeon as fast as possible. Get me to the mountain as fast as possible.
Yeah, just, I don't know.
But yeah, Steep is a really good game. I'm going to advocate for that game. If you do have a passing interest in it or you liked snowboarding games back in the day, fucking pick it up. It's $30 on PSN. It's probably not selling amazingly, so it'll probably only get cheaper as time goes on. Definitely pick it up. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Just ignore the writing because the writing is bad.
What are you gonna do though?
Yeah, that's why you turn the soundtrack's okay. It's like very like modern, like synthy alternative stuff. That sounds nice, but turn it off. Listen to a podcast. And then I played one more Ubisoft game that I actually forgot to put on here. I played the For Honor beta.
Oh, okay. What do you think of that? Because I played the alpha a few months ago.
So this is interesting. I did the opening tutorial and like everything made sense. Controls made sense. Like if you're blocking up, you're going to attack up. Whatever way you're blocking is the way you're going to attack. I like that. I think that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The character movement felt really good. It's a very pretty game. I actually liked a lot of things about it. So I went to the first multiplayer thing. I was trying to do with a 1v1 duel because I felt like that's where the game would play better. Like if you're playing it like a fighting game.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get any matches in that. So I ended up doing the 4v4 skirmish. And the skirmish is interesting because when you start skirmish, you're always facing another player from that team. Like you are always in each other's lines of sights when the match starts. So you're immediately going in there. But so my first skirmish match, I killed the first guy I faced. I was like, wow, that felt really good. And then immediately I was bombarded by 3 of them and just got ganked.
Like actual real people?
Yeah,
or like,
actual real people. And I was like, well, fuck, that sucks. And then after that, I started another round of skirmish after we lost because it's like you die, you're out for the whole match.
Okay, all right.
And was just immediately killed by the first guy I faced. And I got really mad and deleted it off my hard drive. That's why I don't think this game's going to be a good fit for me.
I actually, funny, because I remember texting you guys that I got into the technical alpha.
Yeah.
But wasn't allowed to talk about it on the show. I mean, probably could have snuck it in on here and probably wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
Well, Yves himself is listening to this podcast.
Yes, he's actually, we tweet back and forth with him every week.
Friend of the show, Yves Guillermo.
I didn't even bring it up to you guys because I basically what you just said, I will almost echo of. I liked when I was playing against this, like the AI.
Yeah.
And like, I liked the tutorial. I'm like, it all feels right. It feels good. And then it started putting me with other people and I was just getting my ass handed to me. And I'm like, you know what? No, this is not, I like the idea. It's just not for me. And
the game is really cool. Like, I actually think it's kind of neat. I'm still like morbidly interested. I just have to get over that initial rage of fuck you.
Yeah.
That's why I don't play fighting games online.
Yeah. And it feels like that. It feels like a third person action fighting game.
Yeah.
Like in a weird way.
Fuck, what else was I going to say about it? Oh, fuck. I think I forgot.
Oh, it's okay. Well, you try to remember. I also
just want to really quickly mention, I watched a lot of movies this week.
Oh, okay.
I won't talk in depth about them. Watched Finding Dory for the first time on Netflix. I thought that was
what do you like of that?
I love that.
What do you like of that?
I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was fucking great.
Loved it. Oh my God. I've never related to a character more than I can relate to Hank the Octopus. I just wanted to live in a box by myself.
Oh,
like
man.
he's saying all this stuff and like, Dory's supposed to help him. I'm like, no, that sounds great. I think Hank has the right idea. But no, gorgeous movie. Unfortunately, it wasn't in 4K on Netflix. It was only in 1080p.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Tom.
Same with Steep. Steep, it doesn't have a resolution option for higher than 1080p.
Oh, so I didn't get a. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. I mean, the TV automatically upscales it, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, you want that pure version of it. I got you.
So Finding Dory was fantastic. I finished Ratchet and Clank,
Okay.
the movie.
Oh God, you went back and finished the
Not
movie.
as bad
Jesus.
as I initially thought it was going to be. But the saving grace of that film is Captain Quark. Without Captain Quark, that film would be irredeemable trash.
Now, my curiosity, they use different voice actors, right?
No.
No. Oh, it is the same?
It's same as the
Okay,
game.
cool.
And vice versa. Like John Goodman is Grimm and Sylvester Stallone is the robot and Paul Giamatti is Chairman Drac.
All right, that's
Rosario Dawson is one of the people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Galactic Ranger people. I don't know. But no, wasn't like it would have been really bad. And it's certainly just a kids movie. Like it's such a by the number kids movie. It's like, what else did you expect from this? But Captain Quark was great.
Okay.
And he's great in all the games. But like, because there were so little other redeeming factors about this movie, like his presence in it just kind of elevated it a little bit to make it watchable and make me finish the movie.
I'm surprised you went back to it.
Well, I went back to it because I've been replaying the PS4 game. Yeah. And then last thing I watched that I feel is worth mentioning was I went to go see the Lego Batman movie last night.
Oh, I'm seeing that next weekend.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking
I've
loved
only
it
heard
so
great
much.
things about it. I can't wait to see that movie.
There's so many fun references. I won't spoil anything, but it's just, that might be my favorite Batman movie since The Dark Knight Rises.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Well, there's only been one Batman movie since Dark Knight Rises,
A lot of
I guess.
snide little hits at Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman.
That's awesome.
In the movie.
That's also that they do that, even though it's the same, I guess, company.
That Lego, like the Warner Brothers animation group, they're putting out these Lego movies. They make a ton of money, and they've so far the two of them have been high quality enough that I'm even kind of interested in seeing that Ninjago movie. That's
where I think that is their ultimate test of what can they get away with?
How far can they push it?
Yes, exactly. Because like I feel like just compared to like Marvel real quick, Guardians was that test. Like how fucking far can we take this? And then that was a hit.
I have no fucking clue what Ninjago is.
Yeah, no, neither do I. But I'm like,
but that trailer looked kind of funny.
Well,
I'll probably watch that.
Lego movie should not have been good.
Exactly.
Like it should have been bad, and somehow those two directors,
Chris Miller and Phil Lord.
Yeah, they give me hope for the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Just because those two are attached to it.
No, they seem to be hitting out of the park.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's it for me.
I would have seen it this weekend, but I'm going with my nieces the following weekend.
Oh, okay.
And my brother doesn't like going to movies opening weekend because it's too busy.
Yeah.
One of those fucking
people. We went
people.
to a 9 p.m. show. It was actually last night. It was actually pretty empty.
Yeah, I usually go to morning shows just because I'm awake and I like hanging out with the senior citizens there. What I wanted to read was like I mentioned before, a friend of the show, Stu from the Total Babble podcast, has been having an ongoing issue with Sony recently, and he was wondering if we could do like a Skype call or like a Skype call thing, just do real quick. Not that he would want to sit on the whole show again or something, but to kind of get this out. And Charlie wasn't here, so I didn't want, technical things aside. So I told him that. So I got a statement from him.
About the whole official statement from Stu of Total Babble.
And this
Total Babble podcast.
This really does suck. So he goes, so here's the rundown.
Okay.
He bought a Plus subscription on a credit card, and auto renew is then enabled by default.
Yeah.
So the next year auto renewed, and I called the guy to refund my credit card and turned off my auto renew, promising I wouldn't be charged automatically again. So I guess he went a few months without being a Plus member. So a couple months later, I bought a PlayStation Plus card from Target and activated it. 1 year later, they automatically charged my credit card again.
Yes.
So I called them within the hour of getting an email about the charge. They explained that using a store-bought card reactivates your auto renew on your credit card.
Because if your credit card is tied to your PSN account, it'll just automatically charge that. Every time you activate a PS Plus subscription, you have to manually turn off auto renew.
Yeah. So he wasn't aware of that. They also didn't email or notify him that I guess was getting turned on. It's probably in there in the subtext somewhere. So they explained that, renews your auto renew on your credit card. There was no notification of this, even though they turned on my auto renew without telling me, and I called them immediately. They refused to credit my card and he goes completely defective, and he goes like, and should be illegal. And And then he asked what.
Microsoft does the same thing, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I asked what would happen if I dispute the charge, and they said they would suspend my PSN account. I would not be able to use it at all.
Really?
Yeah, that was the thing
shady.
they got from him. Yeah, I
Sony is not known for handling these kind of problems well.
Yeah, and
like when they told me when they initially refused to help me out when someone hacked into my PSN account.
Yeah,
and they told me I shouldn't be giving out my password.
Well, that's why I told Stu. I was like, I know Tom refuses to put his card on PSN.
I actually have it on right now.
Oh, really?
Because I wanted to buy something. I have to go take it off.
I told him you didn't.
And sometimes that's just more convenient than try getting the Amazon card and then waiting for that and then typing in the number.
Yeah.
But
so
no, I got to take that off actually.
So if you don't want auto renew on, I just got screwed with this recently. I wasn't going to renew my Prime membership.
Yeah.
And it's my own fault. I knew it was sometime in January. I go and check my bank one morning, $100 gone. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker.
That's how they get you.
I was like, okay, I guess I have Prime for a whole another year because even if I cancel it, I don't get my.
No, yeah,
don't get the money back. That does suck, Stu. I'm very sorry to hear that.
That's terrible. Sony support is not helpful.
No. And if you're listening to this, and go check your auto renew if if you're not crazy about PlayStation
maybe make
Plus.
sure you shut that off if you're not interested in games like Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah, especially if you've been doing it by gift card, so your credit card doesn't get charged. For games I've been playing though this week, I kind of had a weird week. I've been still playing Fire Emblem Heroes. I feel like I just mumbled that. Fire Emblem Heroes. I hear a lot of people are starting to complain about the game because they want to collect all the characters,
but you got to pay some bucks to do that.
Yeah, you got to get the universal currency is orbs.
Okay.
If you log in per day, you get 2. If you beat new story missions, you get 1. So you can get a few a day if you play.
And I'm guessing new characters cost like 10.
Well, yeah. Well, so the way the orbs work is you go to summoning and say it costs 5 orbs to summon the first time. Each time you summon, it costs less orbs. So that's kind of how they get you to keep summoning characters. But it's all random. Like you can go through 2 right now. Right now there's 2 batches you can go through. And so that's kind of how they get you. And orbs, obviously, you need orbs. You can cash in to upgrade your castle. You use orbs for everything, is what I'm trying to get at. And a lot of people are trying to collect all the characters because they really are into Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
So they're getting frustrated with that because they're like, oh, it's just, it's just kind of trying to nickel and dime me. Luckily for me, I don't know anything about the Fire Emblem characters, so I don't give a shit who's on my roster just based on, I just want your star level to be high.
Exactly.
So luckily, I'm not feeling that urge to want to keep paying money to want to try and get Martha Roy, or those are the only 2 I know. So those are 2 I'm going to name.
Martha Roy or Martha Roy or Martha Roy.
So I haven't felt that. So I'm actually still enjoying the game. I think it's actually a really well made single screen tactical RPG.
I'll try it out at some point.
Yeah.
As to what you were saying about the randomness, that's just kind of the way it is now.
Yeah, with
every
games.
Game, not even phone games, with every game. Look at fucking the people who are super into Overwatch. Like, I spent $100 on loot boxes, and I still didn't get the fucking the Tracer Olympic skin that I wanted.
Yeah, and what you notice in Overwatch, and what I'll get to in this game in a second, is when you give out free boxes, I tend to get the good stuff in the free boxes, almost to encourage you to want to buy more boxes. Yeah. In this game, I haven't bought any orbs, and I got like a login bonus to get like 5 orbs or something. It was like a weekly bonus or whatnot. So I went to go like try and get characters, and I got my first 5-star character. And I had that thought for a second of, ooh, maybe I should go buy more. I'm like, no. Like I got 5 stars, usually the best stats, do special abilities. They're the ones you kind of want. And that's why some people are going a little overboard, I guess, with buying the orbs. And I had that thought of, oh, maybe I should buy orbs. I'm like, you know what? No, because if I buy them, then I guarantee you for some reason my chances are going to go down of getting anyone that I would really want. So luckily I stayed away from that. But I know that in Overwatch, I have bought loot boxes before, like in like sets of 10, and like every time you open them, and one is not as satisfying opening a loot box when you normally level up. It's more satisfying than just buying them, opening them, and most of the time you don't get anything worthwhile, so it's not even worth your time, really. But yeah, I think it's a well-made mobile game. Clearly, it's making money. I think it's like in the top 15 right now of top grossing. So
That's good. It's a far cry from Mario.
yeah, exactly. So
But I think the difference there is, you see, this was free to play, whereas Mario wasn't.
yeah, it was free to try. You know,
Sure, Animal Crossing will likely be free to play as
More
well,
like
which
Fire
makes
Emblem, might guarantee
complete
it.
sense for
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. Like, oh, you want that piece of furniture, just buy it.
I'm glad they experimented with Super Mario Run, and that's why I was willing to kind of, even though like I'm not like super crazy about it, like reward that type of at least experimenting with that on the App Store of a single purchase, which you really don't see. And yes, so far I think I like out of the three main games, like I mean Mitomo's a game, but not really. Like I think they've done pretty good job with the first two. I'm really interested to see what Animal Crossing ends up being.
Mitomo was hell.
Yeah, Mitomo was pretty dumb.
Mitomo is like the virtual embodiment of what hell is likely like.
Didn't you just answer questions? Wasn't that the whole point of the game?
I don't know. I answered questions. I gave these really dark existential answers, and my guy in the funny voice said the answers.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was my day of enjoyment with Mitomo.
Other games I started playing was I forgot that oops. I'm kind of like in that phase of I'm waiting for Switch to come out.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to buy anything. I forget that I'm an EA or an Origin member, so on my computer, so I have the backlog of all those games. So I went down and I downloaded a bunch of stuff. They have all 3 Dragon Ages on there. They have all 3 Dead Spaces.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, they have the Mass Effect games, which I already own, so that wasn't part of it. But it comes with all the DLC, or most of the DLC for most of the games. Like Dragon Age 1 and 2, it comes with all the DLC, and like 3 has select DLC. So I started up Dragon Age Origins, which I never played on the computer. I played it like 5 times on Xbox 360 probably. Ran like trash on my 360.
Yeah.
It's weird how different it is on the computer, this game.
Well, it plays much more like an old school CRPG, right?
Yeah, it's more... Now, I'm actually playing with an above view camera.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm playing this game. You can roll the mouse in, so it's like a normal third person game. But for some reason, I like the...
So is it like all the time it's above you?
Yeah, that's how I put it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know they had that in Inquisition, but it was only in combat.
Yeah,
that you could do that.
For this, I have it set so as I'm following the character around the world, it's constantly above. It almost looks like Diablo, kind of.
That's cool.
And then it just zooms in when you're going into conversations. So I'm actually really enjoying that. I'm at God. Did you play Dragon Age 1? I forget.
I played like 3 hours of Dragon Age 1.
Okay, I got through like the tutorial story.
I got to the point where you talk to Morgan's mom.
Okay. See, I'm through like when you pick a character, there's like 6 or 7.
No, it wasn't that. You know when there's a point in that game where you have to like climb a tower, like the mage's tower, and then you fight the ogre on top.
Yes.
I hit that point, was never able to beat the ogre, and I never played that game.
The mage's section was tough. I remember doing that. I bumped it down to easy because I remember having some problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to play this game in a different way because I played it a bunch of times, and it's fun at least seeing it in a different way because usually most of these games I go back and play, like it's just the same thing.
Isn't Mass Effect a little different too? Like has completely different UI on PC?
No, not really. It's just only mouse and keyboard. So there's no...
so you played it with a controller, right?
No, yeah. Well, Mass Effect, there's no controller support. Andromeda is going to be the first one on PC with controller support.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's really weird.
So when you played those games on PC, you played them with mouse and keyboard?
Yeah. And it's fine. It's just I'm so used to the controller layout, it felt a little weird. Dragon Age kind of feels almost more like an MMO kind of play.
Yeah.
Because all your attacks
Everything's
are
on
hotkey.
cooldowns.
Yeah. So it works, I think, slightly better than what Mass Effect. I mean,
well, that's funny. I was while we're talking about this, I was reading a lot of the previews from Mass Effect Andromeda. Mm-hmm. A lot of that sounds like Dragon Age,
like Inquisition Dragon Age, or
like Inquisition Dragon Age, but a little more RPG, where everything is kind of on these cooldowns. You have more immediate access to your power, and you have a lot more customization. So I think that's going to be a very interesting game. I like the idea that you're not locked into a class. You can specialize in a direction that you want.
Yeah.
Because that was always the problem in Mass Effect. We're like, oh, I'm going to play as a biotic, but fuck, I can't use assault rifles until I unlock the perk that lets me use assault rifles.
And then the assault rifles you're using aren't that great.
Exactly, because you level up
it's a whole circle. So right now I'm playing through Dragon Age. My plan is, because I love Dragon Age 1, never really gave 2 a chance, and never gave 3 a chance.
Yeah.
So I would like to try and play through all of them. Who knows how that one's going to go.
Maybe skip 2.
That's what I'm thinking. Because every time I try to, I've tried it twice.
I think it's okay to say that 2 is an objectively bad game.
Yeah.
I think it's all right to say that.
But I know I'm friends with people who like really like that game, and every time I'm like, how do you really like this game? It's so whatever. Moving on. My final game I played was Need for Speed Most Wanted, because we talked 2012 Most Wanted. Because we were talking about it. It's part of the Origin thing.
Yeah.
Man, I fucking love that game. That
Still
game,
hold up?
Oh, yes and no. Like now, granted, Jesus, in its defense of its graphics and everything, I played it on the Vita mostly, so of course,
so anything looks better.
Like, oh, this aged wonderfully, because the Vita version was whatever, bland, but it was just fun to play that on the go. I just like, and surprisingly enough, I don't own Forza Horizon 3. I just like open world racing games. I think they're so much fun. I'm playing this and I'm like, why don't I own Forza Horizon 3? And then it's just, right now,
Did you then make the wise decision to buy Forza Horizon 3?
No, because I just don't want to drop $60 on anything right now.
That Forza Horizon 3 is incredible. It's a great game.
Yeah, I know.
It's like one of my favorite racers in recent years.
Yeah, like, and it makes me really want to play that, but this game still really holds up. It's designed so well. Like, there's the billboards you can smash.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm flying down and like I crash through one, and like where you land is perfectly like made so your car doesn't like land like roughly or anything. It's like indented perfectly, so you kind of like land and come right back up like in a smooth transition. It's like just some really cool shit. Criterion is like on a whole nother level with racing games, and it's kind of weird that they're not making them
weird
anymore.
Where this company is right now.
Yeah, because right now they're working on the racing for or driving for Battlefront. I think that's the only thing that's confirmed, because I think that GoPro game was canceled.
Company got relegated to like just doing third-party work where they were making Burnout and they were making great Need for Speed games, and now it seems like most of the talent left. And I know they had that first-person game production that got canceled.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see if they are the ones behind the new Need for Speed coming out that we talked about last week.
Oh yeah, possibly. Or they'll probably keep it's Ghost Games that does it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? They might do a co-project or something.
Yeah. Maybe.
That is all I've been playing this week, though.
That's funny. I think I'm the opposite of you. I prefer circuit racers to open world racers, but Horizon 3 was the outlier for me where I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I can't get into the...
Yeah. But like I prefer like simulation circuit racers.
Mm-hmm. So I want to take a break.
Yeah,
we'll come right back. I just want to... All right, we'll be right back. Hey guys, it's your host Joe. Thanks for checking out the show this week. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. We love to hear from you. Send an email to podcastdemastered@gmail.com with any comments or questions. We may even discuss your email live on the show. To stay up to date, follow us on Twitter @DMastercast. For our live streams, you can go to twitch.tv/podcastdemastered. And lastly, our video content can be found at youtube.com/podcastdemasteredshow. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, and we are back from our little extended vacation break.
Right?
That's what we just took.
Yeah.
We went to Honolulu.
I thought we went to Cancun.
No.
Spring break.
No Cancun.
Show your titties.
No.
Spring break.
Jesus Christ.
Don't go in that hotel room. It stinks in there.
Oh God. What does it smell like?
The sex pit. That's what happens on spring break. They all go into the sex pit.
It just be, man, I need to go on spring break then. Before we get into the news, like I said earlier, Charlie's not here, so we can mention the Switch without, getting crucified.
I can't snap.
We can mention the Switch.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Anyways, so I saw an article today. It was from Kotaku. It was Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
And he wrote, it was all about how the Wii U marketing was complete and utter trash. And like, even though some people aren't happy with the way Switch is being marketed, like, I mean,
it's 1,000 times better.
Yeah. I think their commercials are actually really good. Press conference maybe could have been improved, but like their actual commercials have been really well done, I thought. But they showed the Wii U presentation and like, they're describing why they called it the Wii U. It was like, because the Wii was what we could play, but now we want to know what you could play. And we combined those words and called it the Wii U. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
When the actual rationale was, we need to keep the Wii name, that thing sold so fucking well.
and it actually probably ended up hurting that system because they thought it would. And like they showed it in the footage, like it's just they make it look like an add-on to the Wii. Like I never realized how much, because I see people playing with Wiimotes, and I'm like, I know Charlie's like all doom and gloom on the Switch, but I'm like, already this marketing is 1,000 times better than anything they were doing with the Wii U.
The Switch looks great. I'm still like, I know I got rid of my pre-order so I can get the TV, but I'm still in the market to pick one up at least by this summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was a fascinating article just to read. Once again, Kotaku kind of want to.
It's gonna be very interesting next couple of months when this thing comes out.
Yeah, because clearly I think they still do their pre-orders, which is probably that 2 million number they wanted to hit. So,
do you see GameStop was like, we're having a contest to see who gets the pre-order? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
On top of the GameStop news we talked about last week, like.
Never end. The train never ends.
Yeah, it just doesn't end. It's like
the train ends with that company falling off a cliff and they're no longer in business.
Yeah, like even like just that Circle of Life program makes me not want to just go there and buy my games. I don't go there
anymore.
I'm only going there to pick up my pre-orders because that's where I pre-ordered Zelda and the thing, and then all the other Switch games like I'm excited about I've pre-ordered on Amazon.
There are a million other retail stores.
Yeah, or like online. Exactly. It's like same day delivery. So. Anyways, just wanted to throw that out there because that Kotaku article was actually.
And now we can talk about the Switch as much as we want because Charlie's on here.
Yeah, well, I'll just talk about it for 2 hours.
Welcome to Switchcast Demastered. I'm your host Shigeru Miyamoto.
No, you gotta go.
I'm here with Joe.
Switchcast Demastered.
Switchcast Demastered.
Oh god, Charlie is. Hopefully he. You know what's going to worse?
What?
We got to listen to the show because if this is all gone. We know he edited it.
That's true. You can call him out on it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get into our first, news story though. Continuing from last week, it's that time of the year where there's a bunch of earnings calls and
I love a good earnings call.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, just get
some tasty bits.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about it is it's all, they're very stale, but they do kind of lay out theoretically what the next year is planned.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about EA. First up this week was Ubisoft. Actually, Ubisoft and Activision were in the same day, but Ubisoft went first, and that's where we found out the bad news that South Park has officially been delayed into the 2018 fiscal year, which is April 2017 to March of 2018.
So I would presume that likely going to be a September, maybe going into holiday game.
That's what I'm hoping for.
But that's still kind of a crazy delay that it would get pushed from December that far back. And you have to wonder, is it, and now you had brought up the idea, you proposed the idea that's Matt and Trey.
Yeah.
Is it Matt and Trey or is it just something with this engine? I know Obsidian was hitting the same kind of
Obsidian
as well.
Obsidian had tons of problems with the South Park game, and Matt and Trey publicly said that there was a fucking train wreck to even make that game. And for a while, people believed we would never get another one because they said we would never get another one.
And now it looks like this one might be a little bit of a train wreck as well.
Yeah. Keeping positive, I think it's going to be a fall game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad game at all.
Yeah, I never believe the December release date though. Like that was one thing that never really
like the first delay made sense to me, where it was like, okay, you don't want to put this and Steep out at the same time. Like that would make sense to me if you don't want to have two of your large games out.
Yeah,
but I think this move feels weird where we don't really have like, I can't think of a justification other than that. Like technically it's kind of a mess right now, or maybe Matt and Trey, after all the election stuff, are just went into heavy writing mode where they're rewriting some stuff to fit in with what happened with the election.
Well, they actually, now it could be interesting because obviously now they have the character, Mr. Garrison. He's now President Garrison.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he was the one that they were kind of making fun of Trump with. And now he's president of the United States. So, and I know they just recently said they actually want to get less political following this season because they felt like the politics, it's almost, they said it's a little too easy.
Yeah.
And they kind of want to challenge themselves, but also the fact that a lot of people find the politic discussion depressing nowadays. So, they might actually be changing a lot to maybe even take a lot of that stuff out of there. I still think they
should keep it. I think that's one of the best parts about South Park is like how they can just hit everyone.
Oh yeah, no, I guarantee it will still be in there. Like I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump / Garrison is like a boss fight in that game because it's. Yeah, they can do some really clever shit. So. Hopefully it's a Matt and Trey thing because I think that's a little easier to handle.
Yeah,
hopefully it's not a
get
technical
ironed
problem.
out sooner than like some catastrophe with this engine.
Yeah. So moving on from South Park, the other thing came out was that Watch Dogs 2 had a had a soft launch. Actually didn't chart in November at all.
Yeah.
But they say Ubisoft said word of mouth actually helped that franchise because not only did it chart in December, but it actually said it actually increased sales from week to week through December instead of decreasing sales, which is almost a rarity in games nowadays. I know I bought it because of good word of mouth. I know Greg Miller from Kind of Funny was high on it.
Yeah.
And not just him, a lot of people were high on it. So I jumped on it too. And like I said, I like the game. It's just...
I think the turnaround, like even like on Giant Bomb, where they echoed a lot of the same concerns I had about that game, which was it looked so fucking cringy.
Yeah.
And like the fact that it's not what it seems to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that seems to play itself more dumb than the trailers made it look
like
to
Wrench
be.
is the best character.
Yeah.
And he should be the worst character. He should be a character I hate. And
yeah,
they
like
actually make him...
It seems like every character in that game should be
Yeah.
the worst character, but I think the fact that everyone is so likable just speaks to like maybe that's good writing.
Yeah.
I'll check that out eventually. I'm in no rush, but I'm glad to see that they were able to essentially Assassin's Creed 2 it with Watch Dogs 2.
Yes. Which is what everyone was hoping for with
Yeah.
this game. And also they did the Fallout 4 thing where they didn't really reveal it until like you knew it was being made.
Yeah.
But they didn't really reveal it until around E3, and then it was out in November. So, and it really wasn't heavily marketed either. So maybe that's another reason. Like they didn't hype it up as much as Watch Dogs 1.
I think word of mouth, and we'll see later with another news story, but I think like the slow, steady rise of a game sales is what we're seeing a lot more of this generation, rather than what we saw last generation, which was, oh my God, you sold 8 million in the first day. I think you see publishers putting less emphasis on that now because there is a slower burn. They've implemented more mechanics in a game, more microtransactions, this stuff of that nature to make a game last longer, that it is a slower buildup.
Yeah.
And word of mouth and the YouTuber is now way more effective than the IGN review.
Like you could have someone that constantly streams it and that can get 1,000 more people to buy your game than that would have no interest in it previously because of the streamer out there.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys, or yes. Did I tell you about the Skyrim streamer I found?
Yeah. How he just starts a new character every day.
Yeah, new week, every week, just new character, plays through the game.
Hey, man.
9 to 5, man.
He gets paid to do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to get paid to play Skyrim.
Yeah, good for him.
I'll take that money.
The other thing we mentioned earlier was that Steep sales were pretty much not blowing away expectations, but not disappointing either. So maybe the cheaper prices are helping it. I know we mentioned it before. And then the other thing that came out was that Ubisoft said, well, there's two things. One was about the Switch, where they said they have still more games to announce for this year to release for the Switch, which might be that Rabbids game that keeps being rumored even now. So, or see what other ports, because they wouldn't confirm or deny South Park would be coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Which that would be very interesting to see a South Park game on a Nintendo family console.
I mean,
it probably
Nintendo's
would work.
no stranger to having mature content on their consoles. Like there was a GTA Chinatown.
Yeah.
Chinatown Wars or China.
Yeah, on the DS, right?
Yeah, GTA Chinatown Wars on 3D on standard DS, which that game was great actually. I played that on a PSP. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they had a few first person shooters, and then and infamously on N64 there was Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. So no, it would be cool if South Park did come out for it, but they're backing up the plan that they plan on supporting it at least for this year, and probably Ubisoft is always more
if
generous
it
ones.
Sells into next year, then maybe they'll keep supporting it.
And then the other thing was that they plan on having 4 big AAA games being released by the end of fiscal year 2018.
Okay.
So right now what we know is South Park's one of them. The other one rumored to be is Assassin's Creed.
I'd figured.
Which is apparently still coming this year. They didn't mention it in their earnings call, but they talked about that last year.
But Yves had also mentioned that he's not afraid to push that back if they need to.
And he talked about that with Far Cry. And so I threw out on Twitter, seeing like what franchises people would kind of want to be one of those. Splinter Cell seemed to be one of the more popular ones.
I don't think Blacklist did very well.
No, it didn't. It was fun. I still personally like Conviction a little more, but I know I'm kind of in.
I love Conviction.
Yeah. So
people sit on that game, and I understand. I understand. Yeah. I get it. It's not. It's hashtag not your Splinter Cell. Yeah. You loved Pandora Tomorrow. You love Chaos Theory.
And it's not.
Conviction is so much less hardcore than those. Yes. I totally get it.
but it's still
But at the
fun.
same time, it was so fucking cool.
Yeah, it was.
It was such a rad game.
It was a really good game. And what I like about Blacklist is it carries over a lot of story elements from Conviction. And then we had a Twitter user, ERB Kaiser. Don't know how to pronounce that.
Herb Kaiser.
Herb Kaiser. He said Beyond Good and Evil, of course. That's also rumored to be a Switch thing.
Well, you think that's going to be an E3 thing? It's all but confirmed at this point, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, multiple sources have said that it might be exclusive to Switch for a year.
Michelle Ancel has put out concept art.
So I think it's definitely happening. Do we see it at Ubisoft's E3 conference? Hopefully that would be a ending. If they did like one of their, how Ubisoft has kind of done, like been ending.
And one more thing.
It could be there.
If
it's Beyond Good and Evil, and the fact that it could possibly be a Switch Lite exclusive, for a while.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. So that's the part that I don't believe either. But it would be big for Nintendo.
I could see it coming out on the Switch as well, but I don't think it's going to be exclusive.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning more towards that. I'm just going based on what people are talking about. But he also mentions Prince of Persia. The fact that Assassin's Creed kind of took away Prince of Persia's steam, and then we haven't seen one since 2010 when the movie came out.
Oh, I never played that game.
I actually didn't hate it.
I heard it was all right.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, it wasn't anything special, nothing remarkable.
I think that game confused people because they didn't know if it was based on the movie, but it wasn't based on the movie because the movie is based on Sands of Time.
It was a sequel to Sands of Time. It was like in that oops, sorry.
It's all right.
In that core trilogy storyline, it fit between Sands of Time and
Warrior Within.
But
I remember I used to think Warrior Within was the coolest game ever because
of the box. There was the box art,
blood and boobs and Godsmack metal played while you were fighting.
Dude,
that was not a good game.
I thought the box art was badass. I always wanted it because of that, but
that third game was all right though. I like that was the one, Two Thrones.
Okay, yeah.
I think the last Prince of Persia game I played though was the 2008 reboot.
Okay.
Which was a really cool game, but it didn't light the world on fire.
Yes, exactly.
But it had some neat ideas, and the fact that they had their it wasn't an open world. It was like a Metroid type world where you had to go to different areas and come back with new abilities.
Yeah.
But that was a weird game. Like, I remember you couldn't die because whenever you'd go to die, Elrica would automatically save you.
Jump up and save you, yeah. Was that a weird game where the ending came in DLC, though?
Yes.
Yeah, which that always sucks.
I never beat it, so I couldn't even tell you how it ended, but I remember enjoying that game.
Yeah, Forgotten Sand was pretty good, though.
What I would want from a new Prince of Persia is I want a smaller scale UB Arts done side scroller.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's the way to bring Prince of Persia back instead of attempting to bring it back into the increasingly risky AAA market.
For me, the two I would be looking forward to the most would probably be, hopefully we get here another something of Far Cry 5, just because I love that series.
Yeah.
But also I kind of hope we see another jump into the Rayman 2D side-scrolling games.
I was going to mention that. I don't think we're going to get another one because I don't think they sold well. Which is a shame, but you have to imagine they weren't made on a terribly high budget.
No, but you got to remember, Origins was almost sent to die because it came out the same day as Assassin's Creed. And
I remember buying Origins the day it came out. No, I love those games. I think those games are excellent. Some of the best examples of 2D side-scrolling out there right now.
Those music levels in Legends, I still think are just fucking incredible. That's a game I bought on PS4, bought it on Xbox One, and will easily, if when the price is right, we'll easily see myself buying it again when it comes to Switch. It's just one of those games.
I bought that at Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS4.
Yeah. And the reason I like it, I know, I don't think Charlie is as hot on it as Legends, but
Charlie liked Origins. He didn't like Legends, if I remember.
I always liked Legends because it basically you have all of one in there too, redesigned slightly.
But there's something weird. I love Origins. I think Legends is great. I don't like it as much as Origins. Origins had a certain feel. It's kind of like when people say, I know they have opinions in 2D Sonic where one 2D Sonic doesn't feel right as the other 2D Sonics did. And there's kind of that difference between Legends and Origins where for some reason it feels heavy. He feels heavier in Legends, and that takes away from some of the control and floatiness I think that I liked about Origins. It's weird. It's a very specific thing. But by all accounts, they're both great games. If you haven't played them, fucking buy those games because they're really good.
I think the other thing is I never really played Origins. I only jumped into it with Legends.
I was that game's biggest advocate when it came out.
I remember you playing a lot.
I bought that on PS3. I bought it on 3DS, and I bought it on 360.
You know what else I forgot? I played Legends on Vita.
Oh,
That's the
yeah,
other thing
that was also
I
on
played
Vita.
the shit out of it on Vita. Getting Vita love this episode.
Yeah. No, I mean, we haven't seen a UbiArts title since Valiant Hearts.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I want to see something new done with that, whether it's a Rayman game, whether it's a Prince of Persia game, whether it's a new IP. A Child of Light was great.
I love Child of Light.
I didn't play Valiant Hearts, so I can't speak to it.
Yes, I'm the same way. It always looked interesting. I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our. I'm going to jump around in I've already jumped around in the way the news is. Let's mention this real quick. We mentioned it while we're on break, but the Forza series hit a kind of important milestone. It's now a $1 billion franchise for Microsoft.
That's good.
Which is not, I mean, to be expected when you release. What are they on to 7
Let's
core?
See. So there's six core games and three Horizon games.
Yeah.
So there's 7 games.
There's 7 games out there. Wait, no.
Yeah, no, because there's 9.
Nine.
There's 9 games. We're idiots. We can't do math.
Yeah, no, math is it's not our thing, but it's expected. But that's also huge because we'll talk about it in a little bit with Activision. Like Activision has $3 billion franchise, and it's kind of a milestone, I guess, to get your franchise up there. And it's very important to Microsoft.
It took them a while to get there, but I certainly think those games have the quality to justify that. You know, they always come out as high quality products.
Yeah. And they're like, obviously it's a bi-yearly because of the studio, but it is a yearly franchise.
I think that's interesting when you bring up the fact that racers don't sell particularly well this generation. Drive Club didn't light the world on fire. Project Cars is getting a sequel, but that's due to crowdfunding. I know people like Assetto Corsa too, but racing games don't seem to be the big thing that they were last generation and during the PS2 era.
Yeah, especially PS2 with Gran Turismo.
Even Gran Turismo, 6 didn't sell nearly as well as 5 did. We'll see what Sport does.
Yeah, interested to see.
But I think that makes me happy to see that there is still an audience for racing games, and the fact that Forza is such a widely appeals to everyone franchise where you have your arcade Horizon games, then you have your simulation-based motorsport games, and I think it's great that they hit this milestone.
There's always that rumor that they might introduce a third tier to it too.
I think that'd be too much. I think you hit the perfect spot with
2. I think
where this
I don't know
sits.
what else you could possibly do besides open world arcade to serious
kart
sim
racing, weapons. Remember that game Blur?
I fucking love Blur.
Blur was a kart racer, but you had real cars.
Yeah. That and Split Second came out at the same time.
Split Second was so goddamn cool.
Yeah, man. Oh.
I was on NeoGAF and an ad for Split Second came up in the bottom of the screen.
Why?
I don't know.
It's so weird. That game got that studio shut down and Disney basically out of games after that.
Yeah.
Man, that sucked. That game was so good.
That was a really fucking cool game.
Blur was cool too.
We need more cool racers.
Yeah, I like kart racer type shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited for Mario Kart 8. Yeah, another Switch reference.
It was a good game when I played it 2 years ago.
Yeah, you shut your mouth, Tom. Don't you be like him. And then the other thing was Forza Horizon 3 hit 2.5 million sales, sold through.
That's awesome.
That's great. I mean,
that should be the best selling Horizon game in that case.
Yeah, because I know Horizon was always weaker.
Yeah.
I know when 2 came out, there was big news that it was making headlines that, is Horizon still going to be a franchise? And obviously 3 came out and
I think that series
and
is
all the
continue.
Horizon games have reviewed extremely well. So it's weird that this seems to be the one that clicked with people, but also might have to do with more people getting Xboxes now with the Slim and
being on PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. It's on PC now too.
Yeah.
So Horizon sticking around for a while.
It's
probably.
Good. I'd like to see Horizon 4. I'd like to see they keep going to new locations, which I keep it fresh. I'd like to see them go to Japan. I think people keep talking about that, but Japan would be so cool, especially because there is such a big street racing scene there. The stuff you could do with that would be really neat.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and it's
Microsoft could do something right in Japan.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it too much, but they confirmed Playground Studios is working on a new open world game that's not a driving game. They talked about it a little bit last week. The only reason it was even mentioned was because he was just asked why because they're kind of expanding it, almost a second studio is being built up for Playground. It's not confirmed because Playground is not owned by Microsoft. If Microsoft will be funding this in any way, so
maybe. I mean, they have a close working relationship. I could see that happening.
That's what people seem to be thinking.
But I wonder if this is going to be Bizarre Creations, who made they're primarily responsible for the Project Gotham Racing series, made a James Bond game that killed that studio.
Oh, really?
Bloodstone.
Oh, they did that?
They made Bloodstone. Ooh. Yeah.
For Activision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
So we'll see how this goes for them. I mean, I think it's always great when a studio expands and, dips their toes in different genre. It worked out well for Creative Assembly, where they did Alien Isolation, after doing years of RTS games.
Yeah. So that's Playground Studios. That's who they are. Yeah. Playground. Let's jump into. I want to jump into this because I saw this on NeoGAF, and it's not sourced from NeoGAF. It's sourced from another third-party website.
Okay.
But it involves a parent.
Did we ever talk about the Activision earnings call?
Well, I was going to hit that one last. Yeah. I was kind of just saving that for last. It seems to be a Capcom leak of some sort of 3 new games, and they all have project code names right now. It's Night of Aegis, Broken Horizon, and Lost Star. Broken Horizon might be a return to the Lost Planet franchise based on the description of
I heard the words Eden in there, which sounds Eden. Lost Planet E. But Lost Planet 3 didn't do particularly well, right?
No, so it'd be interesting to see if they did return to that franchise, because I liked Lost Planet 1.
And then there was a Japanese only spin-off called Exo Soldiers. And it was like an anime Lost Planet game, but it only came out in Japan.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on the description of Planet Eden being abandoned on the planet, which kind of happens in Lost Planet, and using mechs in 4-player co-op, which is kind of...
That sounds like Lost Planet.
It sounds exactly like a Lost Planet game.
Man, that's just a weird series. Yeah. I've never played any of them besides the first one.
I like the first one.
But I played... Because maybe it's because there wasn't a lot to play on the 360 at the time, but I played a ton of the first game.
Yeah, I remember not caring about the second one, and then they tried to go back to the first one for the third one.
And by then nobody... Did they have like Nick Cage in it? Or a guy who looked a lot like Nick Cage?
Oh, I don't know about that. I have no idea.
We gotta look this up later.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Yeah, I never played any of them besides that first one, but I like that first one a fair bit. I welcome a return to that series. Yeah, and you have to wonder because Capcom seems so big on re-releases. I wonder if we'll get like Lost Planet 1, 2, 3 now out on Xbox Live and PSN, like they did for Dead Rising or
so
Resident
weird.
Evil.
But yeah, they do it a lot. So
yeah.
The other 2 games, Night of Aegis, is like set in the 1970s. It's described as an action shooter magic combat game in New York City.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. And then finally, Lost Star is very little was actually talked about of Lost Star, but it seems to be a like galaxy space saga where you're meeting new races and exploring new planets.
I take issue with these 3 games because none of them sound like Devil May Cry 5.
That is a good point.
And I really want Devil May Cry 5, not DMC 2.
Did you not like DMC?
I liked it fine, but it wasn't Devil May Cry.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I never played the original 4, so I only played DMC, so I actually really like
Old
DMC.
Dante was so much better than new Dante.
Yeah. I think when the white wig fell on him, he was like, not a million years, and tore it off. I was like, yeah.
That game's not terrible, but fuck the writing in that game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, these are all code names, so they could be whatever.
Yeah.
I have to imagine, though, just judging by Capcom, what we know of Capcom, I feel like more than half of these, they have to be mobile games.
Well, no, I mean, there were screenshots for Night of Aegis, at least. That was not a mobile game.
Yeah.
Just based on it looked like a full third-person action game. Like,
wonder if one of them is whatchamacallit, Deep Down.
Yeah, that game's dead. That game is far gone. I was actually reading the NeoGAF thread going through it, and people were like, so this means Deep Down is dead, right?
Yes,
and
Deep Down is Deep Down.
Yeah, Deep Down.
Do you remember when Phantom Ray was going to be their next-gen engine?
Yeah.
And they never used it?
Yeah, you're right. They didn't use it fucking once.
Yeah, no.
That must suck to throw all that money into tech and never touch it.
Well, I mean, look at Square Enix with Luminous.
Yeah.
Because that just ended up being such a hassle to develop for. They're like, fuck it. I think that's what a lot of Japanese developers this generation are realizing, who had their own in-house proprietary tech, where they're like, fuck, it's so much easier to just use Unity or Unreal 4.
Unreal, yeah.
Faster, too.
Like I said, those are all leaks, so it's not, it's, rumor thing. Maybe we'll see stuff at E3. Yeah. Maybe this never comes forward at all. Lost Star just seems a little too similar to Mass Effect for my liking, so
we'll see.
Yeah,
could be anything. Like I said, I think a lot of those, or two or three of those, could be mobile games.
Yeah. Now let's jump to the Activision earnings call, which I had as number 1 on our list, but then saved to last.
Yeah, you're messing up the order. You're screwing me up.
I'm a rebel. I do my own.
Fucking badass over here.
Yeah. I must rebel. They cut that line out of the movie, thank God.
They cut a lot of things out of that movie.
Yeah.
Go back and watch some of those trailers and watch that movie, and you're like, oh, that didn't happen.
You know what, though? I'm kind of fine with that in movie trailers. Because then it's not giving away the actual stuff that happens. So I was kind of happy when, one, that line was also terrible in the trailer.
I rebel.
And it was like, oh my God, it makes me want to not like you, Jyn Erso.
Rogue One was all right. I
Yeah.
don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Yeah. Like, I'll probably...
The more I think back to it, the more I realize I'm very much in the middle on that movie.
Yeah, like, I will definitely get it when it comes out, like, on Blu-ray, because I have all the Star Wars movies now on Blu-ray. And I must continue my addicting collection.
Oh, you don't have to buy Blu-rays, Joe. You don't have to do that anymore in the digital future.
I know. I know it's weird, but I have like
I watch most things now when they come to Netflix.
I have all my Marvel movies on one thing, and then all the Star Wars shit on the other.
Like, I really wanted to watch Arrival because I've never seen Arrival, and
Oh, dude, that movie's great.
It sounds, everything I've heard sounds fantastic. So I was looking at renting it on PSN. I'm like, I'm sure it'll be on Netflix soon.
Also, my one problem with the rentals is that if you just spend $5 more, you can just buy the movie usually.
It's like, sometimes I just want to watch it once. It's the reason I don't really buy movies anymore. Because like I'm at a point where I'm content seeing a movie once and not watching it again.
I mean, honestly, that's how I am with my Marvel collection. I pretty much just buy it just because if I stop now,
you won't have the complete collection.
Exactly. And I've been building it now for years. So it's like, I can't stop.
Oh boy, we should quickly sidetrack and talk about that,
who cares? Charlie's not here.
That
he
concept,
doesn't need to know.
That Avengers Infinity War concept art.
If you don't know what we're talking about, pause the episode, go to Marvel's YouTube account or Twitter account or whatever. They posted it everywhere. And there's like a 3-minute long like video that just talks about them starting filming. And it basically confirmed that Tony Stark, Spider-Man, and Peter Quill are all going to meet each other. Obviously,
concept art of Thor and Rocket Raccoon
with looks like Thor's battle axe, not the hammer.
Presumably he loses it in Ragnarok.
So what movie?
But then at the end of Infinity War, fucking Odin's gonna shoot down Mjolnir because they're like, fuck, they need it. They're losing so bad. But Thor's not gonna pick it up. Captain America is gonna pick it up, and then he's gonna shout, "Avengers Assemble!"
And they've been teasing
it. The shit out of Thanos.
Dude, I was
so fucking excited for that movie. You have no idea.
Yeah, it was a great 3-minute video basically talking about the history of the MCU, what it means for Infinity War, and like basically getting to see all these characters that you fucking love for a decade now. Just seeing these movies build to this, like what is now like essentially their series finale almost.
Basically. Like Avengers felt like the victory lap, and this feels like
all right, we're coming home.
Yeah.
I read an interesting article today that said Infinity War should end, and I hope it does, with Thanos essentially winning. Because like obviously we know it's 2 parts. Yeah. So like part 1 that's called Infinity War should end with Thanos just fucking wrecking them. Like and whatever. And it'd be interesting to see if he does the infamous snap scene. Not the switch snap, but the actual snap where did you read the comic?
No, what happens?
There's a scene in he gets the gauntlet together for the first time, puts it on, and to impress the woman he loves, Lady Death.
Yeah.
You
think that's gonna be a plot point?
I kind of hope so. Because
I know in the first Avengers movie, the guy says to fight them is to court death.
Yes. So I think that will be a storyline. Yeah. And they've introduced enough weird science and magic that I think that's kind of acceptable to go into that realm.
Totally. If you have Dormammu, you can have
exactly.
Death.
You have Dormammu, you can pretty much start going anywhere.
Exactly.
You have interdimensional travel, essentially. But in there, in order to oppress her, he snaps his finger with the gauntlet and half of the universe dies.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, which means most of the Avengers die too. And basically the only reason they come back is because he's kicking their ass so easily. He's just like, all right, fine, I'll bring back everyone to life and let's see if you can kill me now.
You know what's great though? So after you do Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, presumably with heavy casualties, you have to imagine this is the end of the road for Tony Stark. Not that they're going to necessarily die. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But the end of them being in these movies, like this is the end of Tony Stark, Captain America, Thor. Yeah. So after this, you do your next couple movies. Then you have your new Avengers movie just called The New Avengers.
That would be fucking awesome. That'd be so goddamn good.
Yeah.
We're talking about movies, by the way, that are coming out in 2022 now.
It's exciting.
I think there's a lot of interesting, cool stuff. I would love to see, because obviously I don't think they're ever going to kill Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man because he makes so much money for him. Yeah. I could see him moving into the head of Shield though, where
Yeah,
he
maybe.
pops up from now, like almost Samuel Jackson, almost, but because they do that in the comic books after Civil War, and I was kind of hoping they would do that in Civil War, but they didn't go that far with it.
Fucking props on them for a successful fucking decade-long experiment.
Yeah, come on, DC, pick up your game.
Oh, well, Lego Batman was great.
Lego Batman supposedly great, but
There's a fun little MCU reference in there too.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. But everything I'm hearing about the Batman just keeps making me more and more nervous.
I mean, they're looking at some
No, they
really
are.
quick. They're looking at
Yeah.
some talent for that.
like
Ridley Scott and
yeah.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah,
Like,
and it looks like Matt Reeves might be the front runner.
I hope so. Those Apes films are really good.
But what was I gonna say? Damn. But like all the stories of the rewrites and like people dropping out and
So reportedly, Affleck's very happy with the script now, from what I read.
but they are rewriting it apparently.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. Hopefully
see.
not too much changes.
I like Batman a lot. I want
So
that to
do
be
I.
good.
Yeah, me too. Well, out of movie corner.
Okay.
Let's get back onto Activision. You know, because Charlie's not here. This
But
is
what
our
about
show
when the
now.
Call of Duty movie comes out, Joe?
Well, then we'll talk about it.
What about when the Skylanders movie comes out?
Is there any video game movies coming out this year? Besides Resident Evil
Tomb
that just
Raider?
came out?
No, that started filming. I think that's next
Yeah,
year.
it's probably 2018.
Got to mention really quick though that Lara Croft looks pretty good.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like a pretty-
just like her.
She looks like a cosplayer.
Yeah, which is making me really happy.
Yeah. No, can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay, well, hopefully we don't have to do another. Is this year video game movies do well? Because last year
I
wasn't.
still haven't seen Warcraft. Still haven't seen Assassin's Creed.
Warcraft is a fine B-level movie.
I'll watch them when they come to Netflix.
Yeah, and I'm the same with Assassin's Creed. But so Activision had their earnings call.
Okay.
And a few tidbits. One, we mentioned this a few weeks ago in a rumor, but now it's confirmed there is no new Skylanders in 2017. That's
Yeah,
not to
we had talked about that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's not to say the franchise is dead, because the season 3, the show just got picked up, so they're going to be doing another season of that, and they plan on releasing like not a full game, but they said they will release new additional characters and stuff for Imagineers, which came out last year. So they're not abandoning it like they did with Guitar Hero or Tony Hawk or a friend, like how Activision usually just chops off the weak limb and moves on. So that's interesting to see. Will we get a new one in 2018?
I think if Activision is smart, they rethink how Skylanders works.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way you do that is by maybe removing the toys to life functionality.
that'd be an interesting way to go.
Yeah, I honestly think I think the reason the Skylanders has dropped off is because parents predominantly are done buying these toys for their kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You spend enough money. It's the same reason like Infinity Bomb. Like you spend enough money. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to spend the money anymore.
Now, there's only 2 of them around now, right? There's Lego and this.
Yeah.
And then Amiibo's its own thing, but that's
I don't know how much longer Lego's going to be around.
Yeah, and Lego was weird because they didn't do like a full second game. They were like, here's
I
expansions.
I
and then-
want to pick up Dimensions so bad. And even when it's on sale and I see it, there's always something else I want to buy.
I thought they were going to do a year 2 for Dimensions, and they kind of didn't. So I thought the year 1 price was going to drop.
I've seen it go as low as like 50 before.
Yeah, even then I'm like, eh.
Yeah, that's like like $20 more than I'd want to
Exactly.
spend on it.
$30 seems to be all right spot.
Really, I just want to buy it to play the Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, me too. And the other thing is like, anytime I get excited for a Lego game, I start playing it, and then it feels like every other Lego
Yeah.
game, and I kind of lose interest. So I don't know how, like spending $50 even, because it's normally 80, right? Like even spending $50, I'm like, I don't know if I want to risk it, and then have to build the set and everything. It's just too much work.
Like I said, I think Activision would be wise to do the Skylanders games and remove the toys and just make them, hey, you can,
They're Diablo-like clone games.
maybe they're free to play. Maybe, hey, you can unlock these characters with the game currency, or you can spend money to buy them.
That'd be interesting if they
Yeah.
went that route too. Other things that came out was one, they announced that Destiny is now officially in their $1 billion franchise club. So it goes Call of Duty, Skylanders, and now Destiny, which is big for Destiny. I mean, the fact that
Surprised to no one. That game
Yeah.
fucking did gangbusters.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, you had the core game, 2 mini expansions, a big expansion, and then another
Big expansion.
big expansion, and then you have all the microtransactions in there. It was just a matter of time essentially. And then they also reconfirmed that Destiny 2 is coming out this year. I didn't go into any more details, which is to be expected on these earnings call. But Bungie is on a hard push. Now, this is according to Kotaku, but then
I usually trust Kotaku.
so do I. And then Bungie came out and made a statement saying that this is not the case.
But of course they would. You know what I mean?
So Bungie is apparently like is in a hard push to hit 2017 because according to a Kotaku article with their sources is that they missed 2017. Activision will acquire a good portion of Bungie company stock. Which will kind of go against what Bungie wanted to do when they broke away from Microsoft, which was become independent.
And then hold on to their IP.
Yeah. Now, granted, this is nothing. A lot of people were taking this as, oh, Activision, of course, fuck Activision.
I gotta be honest, I don't think Activision's just, if this is true, I usually trust Kotaku on these things. They've been accurate about Destiny in particular before. If this is true, I don't think Activision necessarily in the wrong here. No. You have to keep in mind this game was already pushed back
a full year.
This
was supposed to be out already.
And they
in
are playing with Activision's money.
Yes. So, because if you remember the original, like before launch came out, the original timeline was Destiny 1, 2 expansions, Destiny
2.
No, 2 mini expansions, a big expansion, a mini expansion, Destiny 2. And then that got pushed back. And it was supposed to be like that. Like that was the timeline they had set up for themselves to get Destiny 2 out in 2016. And then that ended up getting pushed back because there's a whole mix of creative changes at Bungie, not at Destiny. And so...
Might as well just say it, Destiny.
Yeah, no. So it's not like all people are going like, oh, it's Activision being greedy. It's like, no, it's probably in their contract that this is probably
I think this is totally fair. Like they've been given a lot more leeway than most other publishers would give, studios like this, especially for a franchise that big.
I mean, granted, now it's working out because...
Do you think Activision would ever give this kind of leeway to a Call of Duty studio?
No.
No way.
Not at all. I think it's because it is Bungie and kind of the pedigree they had before they even came into it. It'd be interesting to see like the behind the scenes studio. And once again...
So we know it has to come out this year.
Yeah, and Bungie's saying no, but I mean... Jason Schreier hasn't been, like you said, Jason Schreier hasn't been wrong.
Wait, Bungie's
really.
saying it won't come out this year?
No, Bungie's saying no, that won't, the stock thing won't happen. Sorry.
I mean, we'll see. Hopefully we find out about that game soon. Yeah. Sooner rather than later.
There was rumors going around, but Kotaku shot those down pretty much. So that was nice to hear because basically I'm just at this point where I just want to play the fucking game.
Exactly.
Still going based on the...
I just want to know about it. Like I want official information because we have that leak before that was pretty...
heavy,
accurate,
with
or seems to be accurate.
That was backed up by Kotaku. I think I don't think it came from.
Yeah. We just give Kotaku credit really quick for like being the only website around that does actual journalism now.
Yeah, they did killer stuff with the GameStop stuff we mentioned last week.
The Destiny stuff.
Yeah, Destiny stuff. They always have been spot on. They're always great.
Yeah,
I mean it's them and. What else am I trying to say?
Well, it's always funny reading the NeoGAF threads whenever a rumor pops up and you know whether it's valid or invalid because Jason Schreier will pop in and say whatever.
He was tweeting about Destiny specifically online because he was like, if my Twitter mentions are anything to go by, like Destiny 2 is going to be fucking enormous because of how many people just aren't interested in that game.
Yeah.
Because I think like even people that stopped playing Destiny 1 like had that interest of what the fuck is this going to be.
I'll definitely go back to a second one. Yeah.
And also the rumor keeps popping up that it is coming to PC. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Which hopefully means on consoles, it's not going to be locked at 30 frames either, which would be,
I don't know. I think the game runs fine at 30. Obviously, you're on a PC. You want to play it whatever you want. I think that's totally valid, but I'm fine playing that on PS4 Scorpio at
I just remember going
at 4K at 30 frames per second.
After I built the PC going in because they had Iron Banner 1 week, and I'm like, oh, let me jump in. I still have my Plus subscription. I had it for like another week and a half. I'm like, oh, let me play this, and it just felt so slow.
What is this slow garbage?
And I was like, oh fuck, what did I do? Because even like Wolfenstein on the PC with the controller, that's different though. That's always been 60, so it just feels fast. The other thing is, before we wrap up, is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare sales still the best-selling game last year in America. But they said they feel like going so sci-fi maybe didn't resonate with fans as much as they wanted to, and they're quoted by saying that Call of Duty is going back to its roots in 2017.
What I hope that means is that they saw Battlefield 1 and they said, holy shit,
people want
sold
this.
well.
Yeah.
People want this. Let's make a World War II shooter.
Granted,
I would love a World War II set Call of Duty game like another one.
Now, the other thing is to go with this is that a while ago it was rumored that Sledgehammer Games was making the Vietnam game that they wanted to make originally.
Yeah, maybe they go back to that.
I mean, you're not going all the way back to World War II, but you're still going back. It'd be interesting to see if I saw this weird rumor going around that like it wasn't even a rumor. I can't even mention what it was. But it was like what if Captain Price was back? Like because in the Modern Warfare saga, cool. Captain Price was a Vietnam vet. Like
not gonna lie, that'd be kind of dope.
Yeah, I know it would.
I fucking love that.
Like it would be really cool if they did that kind of shit.
I'm fine with getting away from the exosuits and the wall runs and the jumps.
Yeah.
That's fine in Titanfall. I don't think it needs to permeate every shooter on the market. And the idea that Activision is toying around with Call of Duty, going back to something that's more grounded, makes me happy because that's when I was into Call of Duty. The last one I played was fucking Black Ops 1. That was the last one I played in B. No, I played Infinite Warfare this year. I completely forgot.
Yeah, but you didn't beat it though.
The last one I was really into was Black Ops 1.
So hopefully we might get a new look to Call of Duty this year. And
yeah. Does Black Ops 3 have anything to do with Black Ops 1?
Barely. There's like character names that pop up, but 1 is set like basically
the 80s, right?
Yeah, and then 2 is set in the slight future, and then 3 is so far in the future. It's just they only did the name because Black Ops sells well.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Otherwise, that was our episode 97.
It's a meaty episode.
Yeah, we didn't have a full topic of the week, mainly because I knew it was going to be us too, and I knew we would probably get off track somewhere. Yeah, which we did. But that's okay.
Good. I think we had to get it out of our systems. Yeah. Charlie's always here to shut us down.
Yeah, we had to talk about Switch. We talked about movies.
God, Doctor Who.
Just fucking drive him crazy. A few things I know you guys heard in the break. Usually on Mondays we Twitch stream Podcasting Mastered.
We didn't today.
Twitch.tv/Podcasting Mastered. We didn't today because it was just the two of us and we would fuck something up.
And also we're not in our house.
Well, yeah, that too.
Don't want to spend too much time here.
Yeah, don't want to be those people.
Yeah.
What else am I trying to say? Twitter @DMastercast. You can email us podcastingmaster@gmail.com. I'm actually cleaning up our Twitter.
Yeah, we followed a lot of porn, I noticed.
No, that was one guy. That was one guy retweeting.
I don't check our Twitter at all, but sometimes you send me stuff and I'm like, Joe, who are we following?
I'm cleaning it up. I want to make. I want to use Twitter more.
Make Twitter great again.
Yeah, make Twitter great again. We're gonna build a wall.
Keep out all the porn.
Yeah, keep out all the porn. No, I want to be more active on it. I started getting more active on it.
How many dicks can you take in your ass?
Jesus, I want to be more active on it between Monday and Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, kind of just every few hours tweet out the link to the episode, which is kind of what I did last week, and that's why we had the Twitter interactions this week, and I like doing that. I am cleaning up though. People we follow and whatnot. If you're following us, I don't unfollow you, so we're not doing that. But just there's some accounts where I'm just like, how?
It's the follow bots.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's get rid of here. So we're cleaning up that. I want to use it more. I want to make it
interact
so it's actually
more.
Interact and actually make it usable. So, otherwise that was episode 97. We'll be back next week's episode 98.
Oh man,
and then there's 99 right before Horizon comes out, and then episode 100,
the Switch cast.
We will have Switch.
Gotta snap.
And
say
Charlie,
Switch cast. Joe, you gotta snap.
Switch cast. Yeah. And Charlie can't fucking stop me from talking about it, even though I'll only be getting one game. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Bye.